Yo people, welcome back to the YouTube channel. You already know what time it is. It's time for another video. People were talking. There was chitter in the comments. Oh, where's the studio? He's given up on it. No, we haven't. We just were waiting for the first bombastic, fantastic guest. Thabz, on your debut, after the game, after the trolling. How are you doing, bro?
I was expecting also a Field Tilt enthusiast.
Yes.
Because I am now a Field Tilt enthusiast.
Do you know how many people tagged me in that? They were like, yo, what's he doing?
Do you know what it is, right? My Twitter notifications are turned on to only people I follow.
Okay.
Right? So it was a massive meltdown. I didn't even know till the next morning. I was like, whoa.
I've seen you though, because the days in following, you posted more Field Tilts of other matches.
Yeah. Because 5 million impressions, you know, Elon Musk might be like,
yeah,
there's the algorithm.
100%.
You know what I mean?
But you've always told me there's a Thabz on YouTube.
Yes.
And there's a Thabz on Twitter. There's two different Thabz.
Which one do you want tonight?
Today I want the YouTube one. I can't lie, because the Twitter one is like. Even sometimes I have to, when I'm scrolling, I have to be like, hold on a second, that's not him.
No, it's
that's like Stokey from Frogden's admin or something.
Look, on Twitter, I like having fun.
Yeah, I hear that.
Because if you're boring on Twitter, then you get a boring audience.
Yeah.
I don't want a boring audience.
You don't want some. You don't want.
So I like the fact that my audience is feisty.
Yeah.
Like, in a weird way, like, it's like, go on, give it to me.
Any Arsenal performance on Twitter, you can turn it into your masterclass.
Oh yeah. Because that's why people think like the club pay us.
Yeah.
Because they think that we can control narratives. And technically, you could say you can. Yeah. We don't get paid, by the way. Just disclaimer.
Yeah, make that clear. Nobody does here. And also, fresh off the Sky Sports debut, congratulations, bro.
Appreciate that.
That was big.
Yeah.
When I seen you on the poster,
it was nice.
Next to Sam as well, my brother. I saw him the other day.
Sam's a nice guy, man.
Beautiful.
Big Chelsea fan.
Yeah.
But some people say delusional Chelsea fan as well. But it's important. Do you know what? I like it. He supports his club.
You were saying to me before we started recording, you got to back your team.
Yes.
You have to back your team, and you do, to be fair. But every time I've spoken to you, whether it's on Big Six, whether it's on my channel as well, we've had you on, you've always backed Arsenal, regardless. Even when Arteta was in his first stint and it was like rock bottom, you were 8th a couple times and people were, kicking off. You were like, nope, this is going to be fine. We're going to go good. And people have seen that as like fake positivity delusional, but it's now come through.
Yeah.
But you've drawn 2 to our stadium and you're lucky to get a point. I can't lie.
Yeah, we are lucky. I think in all my tweets, from all the delusion that people might see, I also always disclaim Arsenal were very poor in that game.
Yeah.
So even in the tweet that kind of went out there, it was Arsenal were poor, but I didn't think Chelsea were as amazing as some people claim to be. That's the point I was trying to make, is no, you were better than Arsenal.
Yeah.
So if a team deserved to win that game, it'd be Chelsea. But I didn't sit there and go, you guys were that much better in the sense of dominating. That's what I was hearing, domination, much better. I was like, no, you were very good off the ball. In terms of on the ball chance creation, I was thinking of what did you make clear cut, and I'm thinking the goals you scored now, I think it was a penalty. Yeah. But it was a fortunate penalty.
It was. Do you know what? It was unfortunate for Saliba, but because the header was going towards goal, and it could have potentially been a chance for us, it had to be given.
Yeah, it was a penalty.
There's nothing he could do.
Exactly, but it's almost an unlucky penalty.
Yeah.
So I mean, and then obviously the cross is a cross. There's a cross. So I'm looking at a sense of just on the paper of what you guys actually scored from. I'm thinking your chances that you had. I'm thinking Cole Palmer in the first half where he cuts it wide. You could say obviously Jackson as well when Raya kind of comes out and doesn't get the ball and claims it after that.
Yeah.
But it wasn't much clear cut from all you guys had, and even possession wise, Arsenal had a lot of the ball. But maybe that was planned from Chelsea.
Yeah.
Give them the ball, and I think what Poch did so well was he cut off the middle of the park and said, Saliba, Gabriel, have the ball.
Yeah.
Because we know that last year our biggest strength was Zinchenko in between the lines. So it was to cut off those passes there and to give it centre backs.
Yeah.
And that's why we had so much possession. And I think my concern is
that's why the field tilt.
Yeah, the field tilt is not really. I actually wouldn't count as that because
it's more It's more territory.
Field tilt is how much can we get the ball in your final third.
Yeah.
And we were getting the ball there,
but the touches in the opposition box was like 3. It was really poor.
It was too slow.
Yeah.
So we take 10 passes to get there, and Chelsea would have space to counter attack, and it's 1 pass you're in. So you were more effective. We were more. But that's the idea behind Arsenal's plan this season.
Yeah.
It's control, and that's why Chelsea didn't have that many chances either. But I still would say that on the counter attack you're dangerous, and that's because I think playing Jorginho, the idea was to control.
Yeah.
And then when you don't control the game at times, and you've got Enzo and Caicedo, just 2 dogs in there like winning the ball,
and they're good on the ball
Gallagher
as well. So.
Yeah, exactly. So we respected you for that. That's why in that sense it was a game. I think that was my concern as an Arsenal fan, was we showed too much respect at times.
Okay.
And I understand why Mikel did it. I also think like when you know that you're the better team and you play in a day, why don't you go show that? And I think we showed a bit too much respect, and that's why we were too indecisive with our passing, too slow, waiting, and then you guys obviously gives you initiative as a home team.
Rice in that first half, he was getting caught out, and the thing is that whole because I seen Gary Neville speak about it as well, where we did play 2 10s. It was Palmer and Gallagher shutting off the central spaces, like you said. That was kind of, I don't know if we stumbled upon that more because Jackson was a doubt going into the game. He didn't start. Disasi was on the bench as well, so they were being assessed, and then we kind of just stumbled onto this. But it was fair from Poch to go that way because, first of all, it gave Saliba and Gabriel something different to deal with, which is runners. We were running at them a lot because we saw when you guys played City with Haarland, when that physical test is there, you guys handle it. You're not weak. But you see this control from Arsenal, right? And this is more, this video is almost like where do the teams go to next kind of vibe, which is you guys, you are speaking about control, right? You want to control the ball more. And maybe that's so you last the course of the season better than you did last year, which is you just started blitzing teams from the beginning, clean sweeps, just like the energy was ridiculous, the press, you were battering teams. And then when you got to like early February, you started to maybe tail off. Two things, do you think this control and maybe less points, but you're with City along the way, do you think it can work? And second of all as well, with your depth, I think, are you happy with your transfer business? Because like you take a look at Odegaard, he went pretty much anonymous, but he plays every game. You know, Vieira wasn't in the squad. Havertz, you can't start him. Is there enough competition there? Saka, on a doubt, had to play. Again, there's no competition there. It feels like your first 11 from last season is, bar Rice, basically the same. Obviously, Timber's injured. But in the attacking areas, there's a lot of players that they're not able to be budged or moved or swayed because either they're too good, but I think more so there's lack of competition.
Yeah, I think in terms of depth, I'm not too concerned because as much as you're right, our first team's the same. It was the players behind them that was the issue last year. Yeah. Because the first team went 7 out of 7. Yeah. It was the players behind them. Couldn't change games. You know, when City were bringing on Mahrez, we had sometimes Smith Rowe if he's fit, maybe Nketiah, maybe Nelson. Now it's Trossard, Havertz, and players like that where they can change the game and change dynamics as well. I think the mistake Mikel made against Chelsea was he actually probably should have started Havertz as a striker because when you press like Chelsea do and you keep the midfield so compact, the only way of beating that, because you know the idea was don't give Arsenal the middle, you have to go over that. And we saw it towards the end of the game when Havertz on the pitch. We were going long. I think he won 3 aerial duels or something like that. Yeah. So it showed that it could work. And that's, I think, that's the reason why we signed Havertz in the first place.
And you know what? To add to that point, we weren't as, you know, we were missing quite a bit of height. Yeah. One of the big concerns I had coming into this game is that we've been playing Colwell at left back for height reasons, set pieces, crosses. We can deal with it more competently because we've got more aerial kind of, you know, dominance with an extra centre back. Yeah. There was no Disasi, so it was like, and he's been an aerial monster. So it was Cucurella at left back, who was brilliant, but like aerially, I was like, if Arsenal have party of Havertz, Saliba, Gabriel, White, I was like, this could be a sticky one. Rice, like I was like, that's a lot of 6 foot plus brothers that can cause problems.
Yeah, but that's the point why we signed Havertz. I know people think he was signed as the Xhaka replacement. I don't think so. I think he could play their future. But the reason why he's played more of a season so far is because we wanted to play Rice there, but Partey's been injured. Yeah. So Rice is based as a 6. But I think now that you got Partey back, and I think he will start going into the future, you're going to have more of, if Havertz plays, it'll be where Odegaard plays or where Jesus plays. And you'll see a better Havertz for what we need him. I think Havertz needs a simple role. Give the ball, do that. Not you have to build the phase up, you have to drop deeper, you have to get forward. It's too much for a person that isn't quite used to the area yet. Yeah. Keep it simple. He's a very intelligent footballer. And I think it's no surprise that when he came on, Saka got better as well. Because on the right hand side, where Odegaard is a bit more touch, give me the ball, and he tries to do sometimes things that he can't do yet. Goes. Yeah. Sometimes for Saka, he's that player who does that. And I need a player that can underlap like Havertz, overlap with Ben White, and then Saka, of course. If you look at the goal back, the second goal, Saka gets space because Havertz makes a lovely run inside. Ben White in the overlap, and then Cucurella goes, who do I mark? And
we didn't see Ben White really. Yeah, but that's it. Mudryk played well. He was keeping him busy. He was involved in both goals. Exactly. He's saying that. Well, some people are saying that he meant that shot. No, I don't believe that. If I'm being completely honest, I do think it was a cross because I don't know how you. Don't look at even if you think you can shoot from there, like it's just not. The maths is not mathing. That's why I don't look at it as, I've seen fans think it's a keeper mistake. I thought initially as well, but more thinking about it, I'm thinking. One of Raya's biggest strengths, he claims crosses. Yeah. And that helps him because he's off his line. Yeah. And I think people were saying it's the wrong position, but it's because he's anticipating a cross. And Sterling was back. If there was no Sterling, I'd be like, okay, maybe there is only a shot here as an option. But even then, you probably would say the best thing to do, because the XG for that was like 0.0001. You know what I mean? The best thing to do as a manager standpoint is to say, okay, we're gonna, retain the ball, get possession, turn back, go back to the midfield. The fact that he hit that cross left foot. And Sterling was back there. And do you know what? When I was watching it on the watch along, I said, this is a good cross. Like, it's going somewhere. It's going over Raya. I'm looking for Sterling at the back post potentially to tap this in, and I just see it float into the net. I said, what's going on? Now, he was saying that they know Raya comes off his line a lot, so that's why we're going to take those shots. But
I didn't see many other shots then. If that was the case, you would have seen more, right? An actual purposeful shot. And then you're looking at the cross. He's looking towards Sterling, and the ball goes that way. That's a cross. But you know, that's why I look at it and go, like, you're right about Ben White not going forwards enough. But the reason behind that goes back to Odegaard. Odegaard plays centrally, and that's where I think Saka thrives the most.
Yeah.
But if you're playing centrally, then you've got to occupy the wide areas. So how are you going to have Ben White giving space to overlap?
Yeah.
I think the idea is, as great as Odegaard and Saka's combination has been, and it will work in certain games, I think you have to now find a player that can maximise Saka's profile better. Just suits him better. Might not be a better player than Odegaard, but just suits his profile. Maybe a Smith Rowe who can overlap more often and just give a more dynamic run.
I don't know what's happened with him, but I've been saying that position, because you said Havertz is not a direct Xhaka replacement, so I don't think he can be, because first, from a personality standpoint, they can polar opposites. Remember that tenacity and intensity that he showed at Anfield, which maybe swayed the game, but you're just not going to get that from Havertz. Havertz ain't getting no fight like that.
No.
He's not getting sent off or any of these things either. And if you look at his Bayer Leverkusen time, which is what Arsenal fans were kind of going back to, because no one wants to talk about that Chelsea period, he weren't playing in the left channel. It was off the right. It was in Odegaard's position.
There you go.
And that's why I've always been like, 65 million, you've doubled up on Odegaard's position when there was Maddison's, there was Szoboszlai's. Like, I get that you haven't given up on Havertz, and listen, I think you'll see in the long run potentially that this guy is not really worth the money, because is he better than Jesus at playing his position, dropping deep and dribbling? Probably not. Aerially is probably the only thing maybe you could say he might have that. But Jesus is not bad in the air. No. He's just not a target man, or he's not someone that you can hit. But I don't know. I think Havertz for me is just like the roles that he needs to play in. He's not dislodging the guys that are in those positions on a week-to-week basis. The
way I look at it, I think his long-term position is going to be
false nine.
Even if it's not left 8, it will be the secondary striker.
Okay.
So it will be, he starts as an 8, but he does what Odegaard's trying to do now. But it's weird because Odegaard's more suited to what Arteta wants Havertz to do, in a sense. Drop deeper, link up play. But he's doing that on the wrong side. So I think that if I was the Arsenal manager tomorrow, and obviously I'm not, right? So I'm not saying I'm better than Arteta tactical management. But I think just looking at the way the players operate better, if you want that, we want one of those 8s to be a striker almost, just to hover up chances if the ball drops.
Yeah.
And that's what he was doing against Chelsea. He came on to play alongside Nketiah, and he was causing problems. So if you're going to play Havertz as an 8, have him as a number 10 almost, behind the striker and making lovely little runs and trying to cause issues there. If you have him trying to play like Xhaka, he's not going to look good.
Yeah.
That's why, even though I agree that maybe it's a bit too expensive, if he starts playing as a secondary striker and scoring goals like we saw Odegaard score last year, Odegaard's not a goal scorer, but he's got 15 league goals.
Yeah.
Because we're able to create chances like that.
He's got conviction in his shots. Havertz is very...
He does.
I
would argue that Havertz has got better movement. So he's more likely to get more chances. Odegaard's got that one goal he saw against United and Chelsea last year as well. Havertz has got more to his game where he can poke a goal in. And I think that's what the idea is. We've not seen it yet.
Yeah.
And now we've got Partey back and Rice playing high up the pitch. I want to see now against Sevilla on Tuesday or tomorrow, when this comes out actually, if he plays as a striker or as he plays on the right hand side. Because if he does on the right hand side, you will see more of Havertz of Leverkusen. Play him on the left hand side, you're going to see more of Havertz at Arsenal.
Yeah. Do you think it was a mistake not to play Partey? Because a lot of people were feeling that Jorginho physically, I don't think he had the worst game to be fair, but physically he obviously lacks. So therefore maybe Odegaard has to give more. People are saying the balance was kind of off. Partey was integral last season. He's probably one of the best 6s in the league until the tail end.
Yeah.
And I look at him and Rice as if it's a double pivot with those two, it's almost impenetrable. But
it is.
He doesn't seem to. I don't know. I know Partey's been out, but he doesn't seem to want to go to those two as a duo.
I think we could see how fit he is first. Maybe he's not fully fit, but I think I actually understood why he started Jorginho. It didn't work out though. I understood the purpose behind it. It was to control the game. And Jorginho's better at controlling than Partey is. Partey's more of a progressor. And in a game like this, especially away from home, if you keep giving Chelsea the ball, with Enzo and Caicedo and you're going to break you down.
Bro, the transitions.
Exactly. So it was about having just a bit more base of control. And I think Jorginho was fine.
Yeah.
He wasn't a problem. The issue is when you've got Jorginho and Odegaard and both are not helping in transition, then you're causing yourself a problem.
Now you're leaving Rice with the whole world.
You've got to find balance there. If you start Jorginho, you can't play Odegaard and how he plays. You have to almost have a bit more players who are going to run a bit more. I even say Havertz is a bit better in that transition than Odegaard is. Yeah. He's got a bit more pace to him. Bit more power.
Long legs, strides.
And he's able to make a little tactical foul. Whether Odegaard tries, but he doesn't have that same level of ability to tackle physique. And Havertz is massive. He's 6'4".
Yeah, he's a big
long
guy.
legs, and when he tries, I think his tackle numbers are actually higher this year than Xhaka was for Arsenal last year. So
Oh,
he is
really?
able to tackle, yeah. So I was concerned when we signed him about his defensive work.
Because the way he moves is very nonchalant.
Oh yeah,
and
it's
like,
the Ozil.
yeah,
It's
it's the
type.
Ozil without the pass.
Yeah, exactly. He's not Ozil, but he's more movement. He's more of a secondary striker.
ball.
If we had him as a KDB type of player, I think he'd be more suited to that. I'm talking secondary striker.
Yeah.
Purely secondary striker, like Leverkusen, rather than let into the box, doing what Odegaard does. That's where he thrives. I think now Arteta needs to almost, is it an ego thing or is it more? And this is, I think, why he starts Odegaard. Odegaard's our best player off the ball.
Yeah.
I'm talking pressing wise. He's the guy leading the press, trying to get. I think he has the most times possession one in the final third and stuff like that. He has to maybe sacrifice that sometimes or trust that Havertz can replicate that. It might have to be an experiment first.
It's Havertz there, it's Odegaard there, it's Fabio Vieira there.
Yeah, exactly.
It's tripled down on that side, and then the other side is looking a bit flimsy in terms of options. It's only really Rice.
Exactly.
Smith Rowe, I think, could definitely. I think there's a slot. I've said it before. I think there's a slot for Smith Rowe in that left channel where he broke onto the scene before the injury, wearing that 10 shirt, Croydon, De Bruyne, all this, but. The injuries, the fitness levels, I don't know where they're all at. What do you make of Chelsea though? Because for 75-80% of that game, up until I'd say the 78th, 9th minute, we were controlling. Now, when I say controlling, I don't mean really on the ball. Off the ball, I think we had the situation dealt with. Like the wingers, I don't know Martinelli and Saka's dribbling stats. I think it was very low.
We were getting the ball to them.
Yeah,
but
it was getting shut down with Gusto and Cucurella. Like you said, the centre was taken care of with this like Brighton box 4 midfield of Enzo, Caicedo, Gallagher and Palmer. And the centre backs were handling business as well. Jesus didn't really get chances. Odegaard was non-entity, and then just hit you on the transition constantly, counter. And I think we enjoy doing that. Low blocks is what we struggle with at home. Tight pitch, low blocks, trying to be really intricate. Now Palmer's here, Enzo, maybe Nkuku when he's back might help us. Carney's a good dribbler, but I'd say this suited Gallagher's game even more. Like Palace days, right side 8. Pressing and then transition against Man City, Tottenham, those in those games when they played them on loan that year, he was like man in the match, picking up the ball and just carrying it at the Etihad, like it was mad. So, what do you make of? Do you think Chelsea can get Champions League? Because I still think we can. Obviously, it's been a slow start to the season, but I can see gradual improvements constantly. And this was a Chelsea team that didn't have no James, no Nkuku. There's still players missing. So, what do you make of them?
Well, actually, on the same day on Sky Sports, I actually did say Chelsea will get Champions League football.
Okay.
And I said that because obviously you have to talk about European football, but your squad is of a European standard.
Oh yeah.
So we're talking about the amount of quality there is European standard. So when you've got that level of depth, even if you've got injuries, you've got enough to I'm look, Spurs have done well so far.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at their depth then and going, even though they might have no European football, if there's no one behind Madison, not even anyone was looking there, no one behind Van der Ven and players like that. Whereas Chelsea have, there's no Nkunku right now, and you've got Jackson. If not Jackson, you can play Cole Palmer there or Sterling there.
Yeah.
So there's options there. So I think Chelsea will get Champions League football, and I was impressed. I think what you started to see in parts of the game was that £100 million all times by 2 in midfield. You can see it at times how they're breaking up play and the control. I think for Chelsea now it's about finding balance in those games that you do struggle with, because not every team will have the amount of ball that Arsenal had.
Yeah.
And so now that whole box thing works against Arsenal.
Yeah.
Is that going to work against the likes of who you got next?
The Brentford at home.
Is it going to work when they compare a deep block? They got 5 back there. You got 3 men in front of that.
Yeah.
That's a real solution for the question for Chelsea fans, and more importantly Pochettino. So it was impressive for sure, and I think you could see the competitive thing of where Chelsea. I think if you were in a Champions League with that quality of player, that style of football could be very successful as well.
Yeah.
So look, I'm starting to see why you paid £1 billion. So I'm always going to look at that and go, I can see the quality now.
Yeah.
Some players I'm still not convinced if they're worth anywhere near the money you paid. Modric being one.
Yeah.
And I can see, obviously, as an Arsenal fan, we could have signed him as well. So, but it's almost thankful in the sense of like, I don't see £80 million there.
No,
he might be,
100%.
but I don't see it. Where I see Caicedo and I see Enzo specifically, I'm like, it's quality there. And Cole
and they
Palmer.
were just coming off South America like Martinelli as well, Gabriel.
Cole Palmer was the one I was looking at going,
bro, I'm telling
I'm thinking,
he's
what
changed.
can he not do? So there are some quality players there. For Pochettino, that means there's a lot of pressure. I'd say you have to get Champions League with the quality you have now. Comparing it to Spurs and Newcastle and co, I think
and
you've
the
got
fact that Newcastle, Villa, and West Ham and Man United, they're in other competitions as well. So we got a whole week.
But even if they won, I still say your quality is higher.
Yeah,
because
if you combined 11, you're not putting Elliot Anderson over.
Yeah, I would say a massive part of football is midfield.
Yeah,
right, and you've got that down to a T.
Lavia's not even played, bro.
Lavia's not even fit yet. But when you've got 3 workhorses, that quality on the ball as well, especially in terms of Enzo. Yeah, that gives you the base to go and build it now. And of course, going forwards again, that's the real concern for Chelsea, right? Yeah. And I think it's a bit weird that you've obviously not weird because you've got Nkunku injured, but you've not got a proper striker that you can rely upon. Jackson might be that guy. I've heard he might be.
I think Jackson is like I'd say like he's like a baby Jesus, where in terms of his all-round game, funnily enough, he comes on right, he misses the big chances, still got 100% passing actually, exactly. Like still can carry the ball past players and dribble, but when it comes to the finishing, that's where the question mark is. Now I don't think it's over in terms of the finishing for him. I think he can progress and he can improve and he can be clinical. It's a confidence thing, but even in the air in particular, from headers, this guy is like he's Tammy Abraham, you know, first season from Cobham levels. In the air he's really weak, but yeah, we don't have someone clinical up there, but the goals have got to be shared out. I mean, you take a look at yourselves, you know what I mean? You share them out, Odegaard, Saka, Martinelli, Jesus, Nketiah chipped in a little bit. Yeah. To win a league, cool, maybe an elite finish is needed, but we're not near that. So right now, share the goals out, Sterling, Mudryk, and everybody chip in. I think, funnily enough, in this run where we've improved, no one's sat back, no one's low blocked it. Because Chelsea are coming from a position of 12th and now we're 10th, and no one's scared of us, rightly so. So everybody's leaving high lines, Villa, Bournemouth, they're leaving space, and we're taking advantage of a transition and we're capitalising sometimes. But next season, if people rate us again, if we do finish Champions League, then those low blocks will come back. That's the next level where Chelsea have got to show that they can bypass that. So it'll be interesting. With yourselves, there's this Raya Ramsdale debate going on. We don't have. Do you know what we do? The people in the comments will know. Big up everybody watching. They're gonna be like, "Yo, we have our own goalkeeping debate right now because people are saying Sanchez or Petrovic." But we've not seen Petrovic much because he's from the MLS. He's very young. I don't know what he's like on the ball. Is he gonna make the same mistake Sanchez? It's a clanger of a game for goalkeepers, bro. El España, bro. Bro, I can say that. What happened? We had Iker Casillas. We had Victor Valdez. We had Pepe Reina. What? Now we got Simeone and Raya and Sanchez making errors, playing out from the back. You guys got lucky a few times. Palmer could have capitalised. The goal, obviously, Mudryk. People are talking about it. And he made a mistake against Lons as well. And Sanchez cost us the game. As far as I'm concerned, if he didn't make that mistake, we don't.
He could have given a penalty as well if he had that.
100%. I don't think if Sanchez doesn't give that ball to Rice, I think we keep a clean sheet.
Of course.
So, where do you stand on the keeper situation? Are you happy with because I was never a fan of the whole 1A, 1B, you know, competition goalkeeper kind of thing. I know Arteta's spoken about hooking someone off at half time and I'll substitute keepers. It's never happened before. For me, if you've got a world-class keeper, we've had it with Petr Cech, with Courtois, you've had it yourselves as well. Not recently, but you've had it before. You don't need to change him. Like, there's no talk about switching Alisson. And it's only when you've got these guys that are just below the level. And there's a lot of keepers like this in the league. Martinez, there's Areola, didn't have a great game for West Ham, but you know, there's keepers all over the league that are, I think, of around the same kind of similar level. They're not world class, but they're good goalkeepers and they can make a clanger. Are you happy with this rotation situation? Would you bring Ramsdale back in?
The way I look at it is with David Raya, am I happy with his performances? Arguably, probably no. But do I see what he's trying? Yes. And I think the reason behind why he starts him is because, and he won't drop him either, is because with Ramsdale is if he makes that mistake, I'm talking more the pass. I wouldn't talk about the cross. I'm talking about the pass where he gives it away. Ramsdale starts to panic. He'll start to make more mistakes. After that,
like Onana gets in his head.
And after that mistake that Raya made, there was no more mistakes, and it was actually a save where he kind of saved the goal. So I think that's why Arteta looks at Raya and goes, yeah, you're not perfect, you're not Alisson, but you're also emotionless. Look at his face after he makes the mistake. You don't see like oh my God, what have I done? It's like it's calm. I've done it now. It's over. It's done.
Sanchez is, I don't know where he's kind of in the middle ground because I've seen what you're talking about with Onana against Galatasaray, or was it another game as well? This guy made a clanger, and the whole game he's rattled. Onana, he was gone. The hot head was in the clouds. That's an
important thing. A reason why Arteta signed Rams on the first list was because playing for Sheffield United, they were relegated, but he said every time they conceded a goal, Ramsdale would go up again, like let's go again kind of thing. It's important, little fine details of what. And when you're going from Ramsdale to Raya, you're not ever going to get a massive upgrade. It's fine margins because we're going from 84-point team last season to trying to get to 90.
So would you leave Ramsdale on the bench? Because I've seen Ramsdale make the same pass that Sanchez has made and Raya's made against Lons. Like I've seen him give the ball away. So it's not like as if he's he doesn't make errors. We've seen it at Liverpool, Anfield last season. We've seen it against Bournemouth.
He's not perfect. And look, so if you look at all of the numbers, we're talking save percentage, we're talking claiming crosses and stuff. Raya, even at Brentford, was higher numbers. And even Arsenal's been higher numbers. So clearly, Mikel looks at it and goes, all these numbers still back that this guy's the better goalkeeper. Is he Alisson? No. But you know, for example, the whole Mudryk cross that goes in, 9 times out of 10, that's a cross. He comes and because he's so well off his line, he can catch that and we go again. He gives us that added bonus, and it's that fine thing. So I would keep Raya for now. And you have to give him time. The guy's been here for 9 games now.
Yeah.
And we've kept 4 or 5 clean sheets in that, more than Ramsdale was keeping. So we've definitely improved in terms of defensively. He makes mistakes, I get that, but I think we've had moments where Alisson was making mistake after mistake after mistake. There was that game again during COVID where it was Liverpool versus Chelsea. Liverpool versus City, sorry. And he kept giving the ball away. They won like 4-1 or something at Anfield. So keepers make mistakes, especially when you play the way they try to play. There's times where Ramsdale or Raya's playing as a left centre back in the build-up phase, and that's a part of football. I would say though, end of the season, if Raya does end up costing us or not being enough to win a title, I wouldn't be surprised if Arsenal look again in the market.
Imagine another keeper.
Yeah, and I think it's about. There's no Alisson on the market right now, and there might be by that time.
I don't think there's many world-class, realistic keepers out there to go for.
So it's about slight upgrades, and I would say Raya at this stage of his career is a slight upgrade. Ramsdale's still 25, so for baby in terms of goalkeepers, he could learn. He could. For me, it's not about quality; it's about emotion. If you can be emotionless like Raya and keep playing the way he wants you to play, you will start him. So it's about he will get an opportunity, I think, again this season, not soon. Maybe in the Carabao Cup, maybe Champions League, and then you have to prove yourself that you have to be a level above now. You can't just be Ramsdale of old.
No, 100%.
And that's the whole point of signing Raya is either I get a better goalkeeper in the short term, or I get a better Ramsdale in the long term. So I think it will work out in our favour. Because if it doesn't work out, you got goalkeepers on a long-term contract, English tax as well. Sell them to I don't know anyone that needs a goalkeeper.
People
maybe even yourselves, for example, and you get a lot of money.
Yeah.
So I look at it and go, we'll see.
I wouldn't take him personally.
Of course not. But you know how it is. It's like one of those players where I don't want him at Arsenal initially. He came to.
He's coming from Sheffield United.
There's obviously something that these people see behind the scenes. The goalkeeping coaches go, this guy's actually a very good goalkeeper. And
I feel like everybody in the Premier League right now is just trading keepers.
Oh yeah.
But I'm not seeing Alisson. I'm not seeing any
how much Alisson
world
costs?
class. Yeah.
And you guys paid that for Kepa and it didn't work out. So I think that's the scary thing with keepers is if it doesn't work out, you're in trouble.
But even over the weekend, we saw Brighton against City playing into their hands, obviously playing out from the back, giving it away. It feels like there's almost, yes, I get it, you've got to be a ball-playing goalkeeper, but there's also a time and a place. And it feels like that judgment is people are getting it wrong more often, where it's like overplaying. I think maybe because the manager said, "Listen, if you don't play my way, I'm dropping you." De Zerbi's very strict on it. He said, "Listen, if you don't play this way, we're gonna have a problem because this is the way we're playing football." And Still's come in and he's just been at the Emirates last season. He was unbelievable. But it's frustrating from a fan standpoint when you're seeing, say, from my side with Sanchez. 10 minutes to go, we're 2-0 up. What are you playing out from the back for? Like, what are you actually trying to accomplish? We're winning 2-0.
I think he was trying to find Enzo.
Yeah, I think so the ball just went past Enzo a little bit. Gallagher was there also, but Gallagher was not involved mentally with that whole first phase because Gallagher recently has been moved out of that Enzo Caicedo double pivot first phase position. He's been left into the second and third phase as a advanced midfielder where he's best. So I don't think he's expecting anybody to really be giving him the ball in from the first pass. So he just wasn't in it, and Rice obviously stole it, and it was a great finish. But it's annoying because you guys are still unbeaten. We could have easily won that 2 or 3-0.
Yeah, you know what it was. I don't know if you watched the game on TV or in the stadium, right? But on TV, Gary Neville's got a lot of control of the narratives.
I've watched it on TV, but I haven't had it with the commentator.
Yeah, so with Neville, what it is, he controls every narrative. He can make a player look awful, look amazing by just what he says, because that's what fans hear. And not every fan has like Arteta's IQ of going, like, this guy's good or not. They just hear what they say. Well, okay, no, he's a bad player. I think with that game, the way he talks about sometimes in games is he kills the atmosphere. As a fan watching it, and he was going in the 70th minute. Chelsea getting away, like they're going with this game and they're in control and it's surely over. But he did say, he goes, if Arsenal can someone get a point here, I was like, not a chance. Within a second, I think of that. Sanchez to Rice, which is a great finish by the way. And I think Enzo gets out of the way, or I don't know, it curls around him. And it's one of those where it's a very good goal, and then from that moment we started to see Arsenal go, okay, right, there's a mistake.
Atmosphere change.
Mistake and there's nerve. And you guys obviously, because you're not used to winning recently, you're going, oh no, it's happening again to us.
This is the thing. And this is where the lack of experience, but also, again,
belief in yourself.
Belief to control. Because Chelsea have played well in a lot of games this season, but they haven't got their flowers for it, or they haven't got the fruits for their labour. So they've dropped points against Bournemouth, where, again, could have won that game, but the poor finishing. They've dropped points against Villa, where there was ample opportunity. Bournemouth was, Jackson and Sterling. Do you know what I mean? Like, there were so many games where you could say, could have won here, could have won there, but they haven't actually collected those points. So when you go back into the dressing room, you're not thinking, oh, we played a good game today. You're thinking, we ain't got no points, and they're going to start cussing us on socials. Yeah. And I think as soon as you guys scored, I think the stadium probably went flat as well. People were starting to get nervous because they know it's like, also, this is going to happen. And even in my chat, everyone was like,
how long have you guys
concede the second goal.
Waited to be Arsenal at home? It's been 5 years.
Yeah, it's been long.
So if you're talking about the fans in the ground,
but these players were not involved in all
course,
those L's. But they've just taken too many L's themselves.
The atmosphere, it must be going. I was about to send all my Arsenal mates messages, and I'm about to delete them now because
I was about to bring phones, bro.
Because 1-2 bang bang, and then Arsenal back in the, and then there was even a chance on Nketiah towards the end we could have smashed it in. And then I think right now around Chelsea, it's about you're not quite sure if this is your moment, you're kind of back, or if it's just like a little good spurt so far. And I think what will really matter is your next probably 3-4 games. If you can stay unbeaten, you rise up the table, you get into the top half as well, and then from there, I think you will finish Champions League football because there's 5 places there.
There is,
And are there 5 better teams than that Chelsea 11? No. Chelsea squad, no either. And with the manager you have as well, I think you have to get Champions League football. You should as well, and you will.
We should. I think the only thing that Chelsea need to be wary of is that both boxes, you have to be definitive, decisive. You can't keep not putting, because we could have 3-0, so many chances. You can't keep missing those chances. And then on the other side, defensively this season we've been good outside of this game. We've not really conceded that many goals, but the goals we have conceded, I was saying it on a watch along, individual errors. It's either the goalkeeper, or it's Silva got caught out, or it's shoulder to shoulder with Antonio. It's like there's so many little moments. It's like you could have avoided that. You could have solved that situation. Exactly. We're not getting played. No one's playing through us. Like the structure or the system is not.
There's too much quality there.
Yeah, it's not weak or it's not fractured. Or I've seen Chelsea systematically be destroyed, like under Lampard maybe before, or Potter. Like I've seen this team just like crumbling. But that's not happening here. It's little moments where it's make or break, and it's very, very individual. Like the player in that moment has made the wrong decision, or they have made a mess, or they've made a mistake, and then everything else has just collapsed. So it's tough, bro. Because I needed that win. I can't lie. I needed that win badly.
Yeah, I mean.
But for you lot,
I take a draw in it.
Yeah, go.
I don't take a draw before the game. I'll be making honest. I still see us 2 points dropped because I think we're a better team than Chelsea.
Yeah.
And I think with the players that we had on the pitch, with Partey on the bench as well, you got enough quality to win that game. And even the performance is nowhere near it. That's my real concern. It's not the result. It's the performance. How you perform like that away from home. But you have to I think what we're doing this year is showing teams too much respect. But that's because they're showing us a lot of respect as well.
Yeah.
Maybe other teams wouldn't leave the middle completely closed off. But Chelsea realised that we can't leave it open.
I think last season as well, teams didn't see you coming.
Oh yeah, like
teams like last season when you were blitzing teams and you were just like, it suited you to do that because now, like you said, this season everybody knows what you are. We have you as title contenders. Teams know that. Listen, you have to respect Arsenal now. They're one of the top teams in the league. That was last season. It was like, woo.
The prime example of that is that tactical tweak from Poch from the game actually was normally you'd have Zinchenko marked because the Arsenal people realise he's the player we go through.
Yeah.
But in this game, Poch just kept Sterling out wide and said, look, if they can get balls, Zinchenko's one thing, but then don't get it to Rice.
Yeah.
And that's what teams are doing now. They're saying we have to cut those passes off because our strength is getting to the wingers.
Yeah.
And if we can get it to them fast, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
But we weren't getting to it fast, and so we might have all the control in the final third and the field tilt and stuff, but we're not getting it to them in decisive moments. And look, Partey's a massive absence.
Yeah.
I think when he's properly fit and he's available, and I think he will play and he'll help us. But there's still little tweaks Arteta needs to make. The reason why I'm not concerned for the title race is because we're still 121 points.
Yeah.
We're still unbeaten as well. And the fact that we're not playing well and yet we're still there is what you need to do at this stage of the season. And like we saw City last year, for the first half they were all right.
You had Spurs, Chelsea,
Chelsea,
not Liverpool, sorry, Man City.
Yeah, Man City and United.
So.
And of course, little tricky games for Arsenal historically is Everton away, Palace away. We've won those as well, so we're there. And I think those 3 draws we've had against Fulham, Spurs, and now Chelsea, I think they're all 2-2 actually.
Yeah.
So they're things where I think we've made a lot of mistakes. But I think once we get into the real part of the season, that's where we crumbled last year. I think Arteta is so scared of that now. He's trying to hold back at this stage to just peak at the right moment. Because to beat City to a title, you either have to do what Liverpool did.
You got to finish strong.
Which is 1920, they were invincible until like April. That's what you got to do.
Yeah.
Or do what Arsenal doing now, just kind of get results. And then when it gets a real tough part to the season, play a proper team. No more messing about. No more this guy starting there. Start your proper 11, Rice, Odegaard and Partey, and then you go for it. So it's about hanging in there until it really matters.
Do you think, final question, do you think you're going to win the league?
As an Arsenal fan, I say yes. And I say that as an Arsenal fan because if I was an outside fan, I wouldn't say Arsenal would win the league because City are still doing their thing.
Yeah.
But as an Arsenal fan, because we're close enough, you have to say yeah. Because if you don't support your club,
you're in it.
And if you don't believe, why are you going to games?
Yeah.
What's the purpose of going to games? You get excited to finish second again? Because I'm not.
Yeah.
So of course, as a fan, I want to believe that we can win the league title. I see little things here and there. I'm not convinced entirely, But it doesn't matter if I'm convinced now or not, because I was convinced last year at this stage, and look how it worked out.
Yeah.
So it's about really waiting until March and April. We could go win the next 5 games, and I still wouldn't say win the league, like definitively.
Yeah.
Until we get to April.
Now you guys know it's like.
Yeah, it's type risk experience.
It has to be April. That's when we talk, because what happens before that is irrelevant.
And this is what experience comes from. That's why that's us as fans now.
Yeah.
Imagine the players.
The players, yeah.
So
there you are. Well, listen, bro, it's been an absolute pleasure. First guest in the studio.
Next time you'll get bounced from Twitter.
Yeah, do you know what, bro? Next time we play you at the Emirates, it could, depending on the score, it could be Thabz on Twitter. But I really wish I was having you after a 2-0 or 3-0 win, because I'm not gonna lie, it would have been mad for you.
Well, we have to thank Robert.
Would you have still turned up?
Yeah, Robert Sanchez. Appreciate it.
Much appreciated. Here's the money, guys. Listen, Thabz, let the people know where to find you, bro. It's been a pleasure.
Yes, I wouldn't say Thabz14 on Twitter. I'd say, because this is a Chelsea channel, stay away from Thabz14 on Twitter, unless it comes on your timeline, in which case I apologise. That's just the algorithm. If you want to watch some Arsenal analysis on YouTube, Thabz14, and Instagrams are, I think, safer as well, but just not
safer.
Not from Twitter. Stay away. Don't follow me on Twitter, please.
There you go, guys. Links are in the description, man. If Arsenal win, you know what I'm saying. If Arsenal win, then he's going to be honest. If Arsenal lose on Twitter, he's going to tell you that Arsenal played incredibly well, and he's going to show you more than you can believe. Guys, make sure you smash up the subscribe button, make sure you like, and welcome to the studio, welcome to the future. In a bit, people. Peace. Peace.